We love it, we hate it, we hate it and love it again. Yeah, it's Warcraft, and we're here to talk about it. Welcome to the WoW Reckoning Hour. Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome to episode 2 of the WoW Reckoning Hour. I am Leonard, your host of the show, along with my co-hosts Sam and Tom, and we're here to talk to you today about 7.1.5 and our take on the changes the patch has brought. But before we get into everything tonight, I wanted to go around the table real quick to let everyone know just who we are and what brought us into this game. So I'll go ahead and get it started off. So I'm in my final semester of college. And keep in mind, up to this point, about all I've done is played Halo 2 online. And I have my best friend that's telling me about this game. You got to check this out. It just came out. And I was like, yeah, but I don't really play much computer games. He's like, you got it. We'll have a freaking blast. You can be this, and I can be this, and we can do this. And I said, okay, I'll check it out. I'll see if I can go find it. So I went around searching for this game, and I couldn't find it. And then Valentine's Day rolls around. And my girlfriend in college actually got me this game for Valentine's Day, and greatest gift ever, because I never would have thought 13 years later I'm still playing this game and haven't stopped. So I've been playing since vanilla, only missed a couple months after release of not being able to play, but it's been amazing. I've played a hunter, I've played a druid, I've played every class in this game, and I've had a lot of fun playing this. It's so much involvement in the community and things of that nature. I know a lot of times it feels like community is gone, but it's like it's beyond community for me. It's gone into the whole aspects of moving in and creating, like getting your friends. Just because I have friends from college and my best friend from college, we don't live in the same city, but we can hang out and we play together all the time. It's a freaking blast. And that's just a little bit of history about me and where I came from. So I'd like to just turn this over to Sam, and she can give y'all a little bit about where she's come from, and then we'll get to Tom.
Well, I started playing I started playing World of Warcraft, I guess, in like 1990. Where the heck? What year am I in? Okay, I meant 2008, when just after Lich King came out. But I had been playing online gaming for a while before that, and I don't want to like date myself, so I'm not going to tell you exactly when. But I played some older games that Sierra had made, and I also tried I can't remember the name of it, but I tried a bunch of them. And then I was and if you're from Canada, you're going to know what I'm talking about. But I was managing at Tim Hortons, and one of the guys that worked for me, he was talking about World of Warcraft, and he's like, you should really get it. It's super fun. And I was kind of like, hey, because I don't, have anything else to do with my time, so why not? So I went and I got it, and I didn't really understand it, I guess, at first, but I kind of got in with a group of people, and I kind of bounced around like I'm sure most people did, through different guilds on different servers, that kind of thing. And then finally I kind of landed originally on Mudfall. I landed there, and one of the guys I'd been playing with for a while, he was like, you should come join our new guild. And then I kind of got into the guild, and I met my husband and the people that we actually are in a guild with now. So Fade and Stinkle and Sumo, we met all those people, and I was made guild leader of the guild, and then we kind of just went from there. And that was like during Kata. So that's kind of my experience. And of course I play my Ret Paladin, the best class in the world. But yeah, don't laugh, it's true. Anyway,
hey, I'm not knocking it.
I hear you knocking it though, bro. I
play it. I'm not knocking
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's pretty much
as well.
That's me.
We all play together too.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we all play together. And in Dramazil, I've known from WoW. He's one of my friends that I've met down here. We've met back in BC, and so Drama, kind of give us a little background on where you've been.
We met way before BC. We started
vanilla.
playing.
Vanilla. Yeah, that's right. My bad. Yeah.
Basically, I started MMOs back when EverQuest first launched in '99.
That's the name, EverQuest. Thank you.
Is that the one?
That's the one.
I played that for a long time, and then when the closed beta for WoW came out, I switched over to that for a while. Became hardcore, as you will. Yeah, I didn't have much of a life. I played WoW. That's all I did every single day.
I mean,
Sounds like the rest of us.
yeah, if I'd get on and you would you'd already be on, and then I'd get off, and then I mean you were always on when I wasn't there, and then there was times when we were always on together.
Just always on, man. Logging in like 23 hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were actually, my husband and I were talking about this because we literally used to be on from like noon until like 3 a.m. So it's like I'm trying to figure out where I got the rest of my life in. Like I can't quite figure that out.
Yeah, it's so funny when you think back at a lot of things about how you make time for certain things. So I always find it funny when someone says, I don't have time. It's like, you always make time for things that you want to make time for.
Yeah, you do.
Time just flies when you're having fun.
Exactly. And so, that's just a little bit about us and where we've come from. We all, like I said, we all raid together. We're all in the same guild together. And so as we're moving into this, so all these experiences and things like that we have, we all experience them together. We just kind of take it in a different light and we see things in a different way. So, I mean, it's 715 and it's exactly where we want it to be. And, I think there's a lot of fun and things that are moving in the right direction. There's some fixes. There's some crybabies out there. And so,
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of things, right? Yeah. And so, I mean, that's what this episode is going to be about. We're going to be talking about some of the 715 changes, specifically some of the class changes. Obviously not going to cover every class because we don't I've played all classes, but I'm not involved into all classes. But I'm definitely going to be talking about Hunter and things of that nature. And we have Brookz drama to be talking about. There's, Ret Paladins, warriors, and so on and so forth. And then a little bit about the artifact knowledge changes in Brawlers Guild. So just to give y'all a heads up what we're going to be going into. So with that, let's get started with our first subject here is about class changes. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this off in Hunters. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. What did you say? Hunters? Is that what?
Hunters.
Hunters?
Yes.
Okay. I got it. Hunters. We're going to talk about Hunters now, Drama. You might want to get your pillow out.
They made them useful.
Oh man, dude. I have so much fun. And the first thing that I saw with this Hunter change is I'm seeing just rolling with Hunters saying, "Oh, Marksman's dead. Just it's time to re-roll." I'm like, y'all are dumb. You are not flying with BM because I go in there and I've been wrecking everything.
Yeah, that's very true.
Guess is where I want to be when I'm doing 5-man mythics. It's exactly where I want it to be. Mm-hmm. And they just had a Q&A, and I was worried in the very beginning of that because they were like, wait a minute. Hunters, don't worry. There's going to be some fixes. Y'all got some hot fixes. I'm like, boom, there goes my multi-shot. There goes, all this little stuff that made it fun. But they're actually just fixing some of the things with survival and fixing some things with marksman. Do what? Oh, yeah, they're buffing that, but it's still not going to be enough buff. Still going to, not when a 46% buff to Cobra is going to be coming on Tuesday with those buffs. So keep in mind, everyone, that with these changes, they're going to have some hot fixes that are going to be coming out. They're constantly doing these. They've already done 2, and so they're going to be doing another one coming Tuesday. That's going to be coming. Obviously, some of the bigger changes aren't going to be happening until that has to be aligned with a patch or something with of that nature. But some of these definite changes have to come with a server restart and things like that. So that requires usually on a Tuesday type kind of thing. But they're able to import some of these quick fixes. So first off with the Hunters. So marksman is, they have to do some fixes with marksman. I can see where some of the individuals are crying a little bit about sidewinders and things like that. It kind of changed the feel of how marksman was rolling. But I don't care because I am BM and I love BM. I've always loved BM. So
you guys.
Yeah, I love it. I can't be, I'm feeling like it was back when I played in BC. Where, obviously any hunter that's out there will know BC, that was when we were the strongest because we came from vanilla being a pointless class, even to no one wanted you because you were absolutely worthless. And then, so
that was
right. Maybe trap something, some CC. You were just there. No matter how good you did your rotation, you'd been, you're going to be at the bottom. And then, so BC came out and they made them unstoppable, and it took forever for them to finally fix it, and to the big nerf bat that came to hunters, and so I mean it was fun and stuff like that. So I feel that same aspect of like I did back in BC without I didn't have, obviously I was there. I had a macro that like chained all my abilities together, and I was just spamming one button the whole time. Because if you took the time to build the macro, it was awesome. So now it's like, obviously there's no macro with anything, but I'm able to go into a lot of stuff and really understand my class even more. I've changed up some rotation. So BM hunters out there, if you're listening. So Killer Cobra, awesome. If you're doing 5-man's volley, is probably going to do a little bit better. Depending on the 5-man that you're doing, I would go with Stampede or Killer Cobra. It's just going to depend on what's being pulled, what you're going to need to push on. And a bigger thing on that is if you're trying, not only when you're doing 5-man plus mythics, is knowing what type of like ads that or add-ons they're going to have to your mythic plus, depending on where you're at. Like Tyrannical, obviously boss is going to have more health on that one, so I would probably go with Killer Cobra. If you have things where, what was the skittering? Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of different things that might open it up. You might change on how you're handling it and how you're doing those things. So just knowing what the buffs are. Someone says, hey, I have a +10, so on and so forth. What do you have in that +10? Because how you're speccing and how you're actually going to help the guild or help the group out, because it doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to do anything. But depending on how some of the bolstering works and all these kind of weird things that go into this, I could change, from volley or barrage or move into different things that are going to help out the group so we can make sure we can complete it off. Going back to like hunters, going the Killer Cobra like for raids is awesome. I wouldn't even use Stampede. But I mean, you do how you feel, like how you want it to play. And so like Killer Cobra, you're going to have to rotate, lead off with your beginning rotation, hold off on Beastal Wrath, get your beginning rotation off, hit Beastal Wrath. And that way you can, then you're basically just switching back and forth between Cobra Shot and Kill Command. Cobra Shot's going to reset your Kill Command while you're in Beastal Wrath. So just make sure if you get that rotation down. It took me a couple pulls to get it because it was something new and different that I wasn't used to. And obviously we have some of these global cooldowns, so it's still a second in between. And so you're just trying to make sure you're maximizing. Don't over Cobra Shot. You never want to hit Cobra Shot, really, unless you're above. Icy Vein says about 90%. I think it'd be a lot better. You can do about 70-80%. I usually hold about 80%, and then I'll hit a Cobra Shot just so I'm not wasting focus. But that's how I would handle it. And then, Dire Beast is actually starts as every time you hit Dire Beast, that gives you also focus back. So you definitely, and that's why I'm saying you want to get your beginning rotation out there first before you hit Beastal Wrath, because that it's going to, you're going to have your Dire Beast and things of that nature are going to help you bring that focus back to you. So, that way you can maximize your burst DPS during that time. And every time you hit Dire Beast, it actually reduces Beastal Wrath cooldown a little bit, about 8 seconds. I was noticing it was pulling off. I wasn't finding anything out there that's showing that I should be receiving that. So I'm not sure where this is coming from. I keep looking and I keep searching. I've asked some of people out there. I haven't heard anything back yet. So I'm trying to figure out where that's coming from. But every time I hit Dire Beast, I'm just dropping my cooldown on my Beastal Wrath. So I'm getting to it a lot faster. So, I mean, that's where my take is currently right now with a hunter. And we're going to be obviously going over other classes. I want to go ahead and let Sam take over a little bit on this and let me know how she thinks on
are you
y'all are a big rant right there.
Dude,
I mean I could talk about hunters all day, and any hunter that out there, don't forget at WoW Reckoning Hour, HR, not spelled out hour, and that's our Twitter page, as well as at WoW Reckoning Hour. We're on Facebook as well. Post me your questions at WoW Reckoning Hour at Gmail. You can email all your questions. Email us your questions, because if it's anything that we don't, or maybe you're confused about, we'll talk about it next week. So let us know.
What about these traps for you? Like,
oh yeah,
are they anything for you?
Actually, they were. Obviously, we don't really use CC, but quality of life right now. So, like in Suramar, when you have to go and you're going into the Summer City and you get your disguise on, and there's all those people that can see you.
Mhm.
But if you attack them, then it pulls you out of disguise.
Yeah.
Guess what doesn't pull you out of disguise? Throwing a frost trap down.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I just
So it
trap
just
them.
like helps you really. Okay, well that's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and in the way they changed traps now and how they throw them, I never messed with survival, so it might have been a graphic they already had in there. But I mean, it's really cool. It's not like this. I'm shooting this volley of this thing out there. I'm kind of like throwing a frisbee on the ground. It's this trap, and it's just kind of sliding across the ground. Kind of like I feel like I'm a Ghostbuster all of a sudden.
you're the hunter ghostbuster. Okay, got it. Hunter, what are you doing? I'm hunting ghosts today, bro.
Don't cross your beams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't know. Well,
So I mean, how are you feeling about the changes? I mean, obviously, I'm excited about my changes, but
I'm
how
excited.
are you feeling?
I'm excited for you because, like, you certainly, your DPS boost was certainly helpful this week for me in a lot of ways.
Yeah, number one, big dick deeps.
Night
Big
Bane
dick
mount.
deeps.
Night
Every time I
Bane
come
mount.
in, that's me, baby. Big dick deeps coming in the
Uh-huh.
house.
Yeah. Yeah, except for I think though when we were raiding in TOV, didn't I beat you?
I was dead. You can't count that.
You were not dead on the puppy boss. No, you weren't.
Yeah, I died like on the last 2 or 3%, and then I was like, wow, no. Yeah.
And then
That was nowhere
the
near
Ret
you guys.
Paladin, the Ret Paladin saved the day as per the
Yeah.
usual.
Nowhere near you guys.
Well, you'll get there. How am I feeling about the changes? Okay, well, I am one of those people, like I said, I think in the last podcast, where Ret Paladins are always that class. And I know there's tons of haters out there that will disagree with me who think that Blizzard has a hard-on for Paladins, but I don't think that that's necessarily the truth. So Ret Paladins are very gear dependent and very rotation dependent, and you have to be spot on with both of those things if you're going to put out good DPS. And apparently, as the boys have told me, you need to have a desk to sit out because laying in bed doesn't really cut it. But yes, that's true.
Depends on what you're doing, but
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Playing World of Warcraft, not unless you're role playing in World, not necessarily that. Anyway.
Wait, what are you role playing?
Well,
That's for me and that threesome tent in Thunder Totem to know. Anyway, so they didn't really do a whole lot to us. They did give us an overall buff and took our might away, and I think people might disagree with me again, but that's fantastic for me because I feel like now all the DPS that I put out on the meters is mine. I'm not being dependent on another class in order to buff and boost my DPS. So that to me is awesome. I also like the fact that they changed the fact that you can cast Blessing of Kings and Blessing of Wisdom in combat because we couldn't do that before. And it was a real big pain in the butt. If you were like, with a bunch of people and there are like chain pulling and you're trying to like buff people and they don't stop because everyone only has 5 seconds of their life to do this dungeon. That was really helpful. And then I was also pretty excited because I got the chain of
Therian.
Yeah.
Theron. Yeah.
So before it buffed the healing done and healing taken, I believe, but it didn't have anything to do with damage. So it's kind of like when I got that legendary, I was like, great, I got the worst one for me. That's really helpful. But it actually, with this change that they made to it, it increased your damage by 20%, which is huge, especially on single target. However, it's a situation where wearing that legendary, and we were talking about this before, like having to have 2 sets of gears and switch out is something that we used to do. And I was really excited this expansion I didn't have to, but now it looks like I'm going to have to. And also, if from the blue post, it looks like they're taking that buff down to 10%. So I guess we'll have to wait till next week to see how that really affects my DPS. But I'm a Ret Paladin, so I'll roll.
Yeah, I mean, but keep in mind on the Ret Paladins. I mean, I mentioned it last week, and I just want people to I have to probably re-talk about this a few times, but just keep in mind that they're wiping y'all and rebuilding your whole spec. So the easiest thing they can do at first for this is just remove might, give you a damage buff, as they're reworking this, and it's probably going to be looking at probably not a hot fix or anything like that, but we're probably looking about 7.2. Just for any Ret Paladins out there trying to figure these things out, it's probably 7.2. Hopefully it'll be a lot sooner than that, but probably 7.2. Y'all have a whole rework, and then y'all will be way overpowered, dominating everything, and they'll have to do hot fixes to bring y'all down a little bit.
That never happens.
What do you think about? What do you think about Blessing of Kings and Wisdom? I think it's so minuscule in what it does. Like,
Honestly,
it's pointless.
they got rid of it. Yeah. Like, I mean, it is a little, I mean, people feel good when you like put it on them. Like when I put my wisdom on Kurtok, he felt like he won the lottery because I gave it to him, because you can only put it on one out for like each. So Blessing of Kings and Blessing of Wisdom. So to me, it was like Kurtok was like, yes, I win the Blessing of Wisdom. And I was like, you're my favorite tree. So, I don't know. Like, to me, it used to be like before, when we needed like pally power to even handle those buffs, and it did something back then, but I feel like they don't really do a whole lot of anything. However, I will say that because we watched, all three of us actually watched the Q&A and listened to it, and I was kind of, before it started, like the chat was scrolling, it was all hunters crying and whining and moaning about how much they sucked.
Bad hunters were crying.
Yeah,
people that don't know how to play a hunter.
Exactly.
Learn your class. If you're going to choose the spec and you're going to choose that class and that spec, like, learn it. Know what you're doing and knows how it's doing.
Like, honestly, okay, and I'm just going to say this outright, and it's not like anybody who knows me, they just know I say what I think, but I feel like a lot of the times when new expansions come out or they do changes, people automatically have to just play the one that some webpage or some website is telling them is top DPS in like the perfect, like, this is like the perfect circumstances that this theory crafting is under to make that enhancement shaman do X amount of DPS. Like, so this is like perfect world scenario here. And I feel like people get all butthurt and upset, and then they automatically, like, how many people even in our guild alone were like, oh, I can't play my class anymore, this sucks, I can't do this, it sucks, I'm gonna totally fail, you guys are all gonna beat me. And some of us are sitting there going, okay, you guys are crying, here's a box of Kleenex, like, why don't you actually go see what it's like?
Yeah, Hook.
Like, yeah, Hook.
Kumo's like that too.
To Hook.
Yeah,
Shout out to Kumo.
Kumo does have a little bit of
did have a
things
point,
to say,
actually.
and some of the stuff, and I know they're in 7 and Tuesday they're doing some fixes to that.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, like, so this isn't a call out, and this is not disgrading anything, but I mean, yeah, we have a guildie named Hook. He plays a demon hunter, and he does amazing DPS. And then before the patch, when he saw the changes, he was like, "Oh my god, we're gonna be nasty! Oh my god, we're gonna be nasty!" And like,
we had to listen
we're
to
not
that.
gonna. I'm not gonna do anything. And then the patch came, and then he goes in and he's like, "Well, we're good." Like, he's still good on DPS. Now, they did change it where he feels his mobility has been taken away with demon hunters.
Well, he feels like a rogue, right?
Yeah, he feels like a rogue. He feels like he does some beginning stuff. A lot of his Fury generation stuff isn't really happening where usually was happening with like Fell Rush and things of that nature, where you're moving around a little bit. If you like the mobility take of it, then that's a whole spec you would move into.
Jumping around, like, honestly, and it was so annoying. Like, I'd be looking at these demon hunters and be like, oh my god, someone just like nailed their feet to the floor. I can't deal with this, because they'd be like jamming in front of you, and it's like
makes it more exciting.
Yeah,
I
but
guess.
see, that goes into like a big thing about with these classes and some of these, and I know I'm gonna get hated on this, but for like a BM is a little bit easier rotation, but I have a lot more utilities in the raid that help and do things, and that you can be able to do them at certain times. Same with the demon hunters and things like that. So I mean. They
buff the tanks. Like, look at mine.
They have a little bit stronger like rotation and stuff like that. Some people like the complexity of some rotations. I like it as long as it's this big rotation I need to do, and as long as I don't mess up with this, like I'm doing great DPS. And you should, because you have a longer you have a more complex rotation.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Hook's big thing is now. Is he goes, I'm happy with my DPS. I'm okay with that. But what I don't like having is now the complexities kind of come down where I feel like I'm just going up to a boss and just mashing buttons, and not really like the complexity is gone for him on that. So I mean, I'll give him that, and then and we have on Tuesday he's seeing some of his damage is going to get reduced by 2%, but his Fell Mastery now grants 30, which is up from the 25. And so it's like
it's
now
kind of
you're
balancing back now again.
Yeah, so it's balancing, it's reducing your DPS, but allowing you to gain more fury. So you're not going to have really the fury issues. And then you are going down a little bit on your Chaos Blades, but that's for the moving in from that. I mean, that needed to come down. It's going to 150% from the 200%. So, any Demon Hunters out there, like just calm down, wait till it happens, and then if you're still in the top, you're doing just fine. You're fine. Just wait.
I think people just kind of need to realize that Blizzard can't just like insta fix stuff. Like they listen to the feedback, then they try to do their best to like obviously do a fair kind of fix on either both sides, because they're aware that there are some classes that are just more OP than other classes. But at the same token, there are some classes that are different. Like all classes are different. You're all expected to do something different in a different way or different role. And people just instantaneously just like, the world is ending, the sky is falling, Putin's taking over America. Like they just blow, like we're going, World War III is happening. Like they blow it out of proportion. It's just like, give them a second. It's kind of like you're just testing the waters, and then we'll go back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely. And that kind of goes into another thing that I want to mention out here real quick is, so with because you had a perfect example of not like going crazy or anything like that, and you're waiting till, I like when people say, I'm waiting till when they do it, and then I can make my assessment on that. So with your legendary, I think on Tuesday it's going to hurt you.
Yeah,
I think it's going to hurt you. But I think they did that because if everyone doesn't know already, your legendaries are going to get upgraded. If you have a legendary, then there's going to be a quest on Tuesday. It's a quest in Dalaran that's going to allow you to upgrade your legendary from 910 to 940. Now you'll have to go collect, or it's involving collecting some essences, which will be from Nighthold raid bosses. Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to come from Nighthold raid bosses, a weekly Mythic keystone, caches, emissary bags, PvP world quests. So
stuff you're getting anyway.
Yeah, stuff you're going to be doing. Now, keep in mind that's not just world quests; it's PvP world quests. So let's go tear some stuff up.
For the win.
Yeah, emissary bags and weekly Mythic keystone caches. So what they're taking away from this is not like so people can't just go. I think they're going to be dropping a little slow, or they're going to be dropping at a high rate, but you have to get 1,000 of them or something like that. I mean, we don't know yet. And so
there's a problem with that though, because now you're gonna have people who only like to do specific things. So it's gonna take them, like if you're a person who like me or like you who does a bunch of things, like we run mythics, we raid, we do PvP quests, we do PvP, we do world quests, like we're probably going to get them a heck of a lot faster.
And we should.
Yes. But at the same time, those people are going to feel like they're falling behind or that they're being forced. They will, because this is the same. I've had this conversation with other people, and they're going to feel
only want to do
butthurt.
One aspect of the game, that's fine, and you're going to get it at the same rate. You're going to get it at your rate of what you're putting into it. Everything that we do in this game is you get out what you put in. And so, I mean, and I'm not trying to be a hater on it, but if I'm doing all 4 of these types of things to help, and I get it faster than you, and you're doing one, and you're complaining about that you aren't getting it as fast,
you're gonna show it.
That's not my fault.
You're gonna
if you want to go do how hard is it to do PvP weekly quests? I mean,
it doesn't take anything, but there are people that enjoy that, right? Like there are people who enjoy doing those things, like we've talked about in the past. Like I'm a grinder, you're kind of a grinder. Well, you are a grinder when you want something.
Yeah.
but we have all the time in the world, pretty much. Whereas other people do not have our leisure time. I guess would be the correct word.
Yeah.
like drama.
Like drama. I mean, but it goes into I think that's why they had to because now they had to do a blanket upgrade to your DPS with just a 12% to your DPS boost. Mm-hmm. I think they reduced it from 20 to 10 because the numbers, when it's a 940 item, put you well over the top. So they were like, they came out with it and like, let's do 10%. I think they'll probably come back and upgrade it probably a little bit to like maybe 12%, but they're probably looking at once you get some Nighthold gear and everything like that, that 10% is not going to seem, it's going to be sitting where it should be sitting because now it's not a 910 item. Now it's a 940 item. So it's increasing by 30 eye levels. So I think that's why. And for anyone, this quest is repeatable, which I don't think it's going to be that hard of a grind because a lot of us have multiple legendaries out there. So once you do it and then you can repeat it again, you can just do it again. And then that way you can upgrade another one. You do one at a time.
Well,
I mean, hopefully.
It sounds good.
What if it's like the Curious Coin grind? Like,
let's not go there.
Curious Coin grind is just idiotic. Like, I don't even understand like why you like they should have made a mount like cost like 10 because I've been playing and I think I finally am at a little bit over 10. Yeah, it is insane and there's no amount of grinding that I can do right now.
For a frost boar? Isn't it like a boar of some kind? I'm thinking like this ain't worth it.
Dumb stuff. I mean, it's all kind of little stuff. I mean, if you're a mount collector, so that works. But before we get too far, into other things, so let's get back onto Ret Paladin. So, and I want to take a little bit of Drama's take on how he's feeling about
because he switched.
Yeah, he did switch, and and I want to go with that part here in a few, in a little bit when we go into some of the artifact knowledge change and things like that we got for alts and things of that nature. But I want to go into Drama. Like, what are your take on some of the fixes and changes they did to warriors? Because I know your main was a warrior, and you just now switched to a Ret Paladin, and how you're thinking about this Ret stuff.
I know that warriors, they actually got buffed a lot for some reason because they were topping already. I don't know why they got so buffed, but
it was arm section that got buffed the most.
Arms and tank. The tank damage got buffed quite a bit too.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah. It's pretty nice.
Well, keep in mind that the DPS warriors, they did have a more complex rotation. So a lot of people that were falling off now, obviously there might be some future fixes and things like that in the mix, but we just don't see very many, even though they are amazing DPS. So melee, like warriors are awesome. And so I think they're trying to make it more even between arms and fury.
Well, they buffed that the first trait, and let me just consult my notes because I wrote it down. They buffed they did a 5% damage buff to the arms wearer, but which was low compared to like other classes, but they increased their burst damage, and people were saying like, because people like to play them in PvP, and now they're just wrecking in PvP. But they basically did the sweeping strikes, and instead of it just hitting one additional target, it's hitting 2 now. So they are AoE monsters. Like, they're just ripping everything up now, which is awesome.
They used to be like that back in vanilla days. Like,
yeah, and they should still be. Like, that was the point. Like, this is what people were saying is like, you broke us. Like, this was our thing, and now you took it away. And so people are super excited about this. And I saw that excitement. I was like, well, why are they so happy? And then I found out it's because their AoE was crap, and now with the sweeping strikes, it's back. Because you don't see a lot of arms wearers anymore, ever.
Oh, that's all I used to play before. But then, I'm always a tank on my warrior for the most part, so I don't really look into all that. And then when I finally do switch over to DPS, it's like, oh man, I have no idea how to play this.
Yeah, I mean, warriors are something. I have one, and I leveled her all the way to 90, but I never really took her any further than that when Draenor came out. But if you do not know your rotation, you will never make it on DPS ever. Yeah, and that's the truth. And it used to be too, because I don't know, do they still have not execute, whichever one it is that you hit and it brings back your health? Because I remember something being said like that people weren't being able to heal, so it was getting to be a little bit difficult to level them up outside of prot. I don't remember what it's called on arms. I don't know if it's the same, but it's impending victory on prot. But yeah, and I know for sure it was difficult to level them DPS spec. I know for sure Sumo was talking about that. He said he had a really hard time leveling him at DPS, so he had to go prot even though he didn't want to, because he really, really liked being Fury and arms. Yeah, it's just hard.
it's insane how much you actually, like, you need gear on it to do anything.
I feel like a lot of classes are now kind of gear dependent. Like they're gear dependent based on what their secondary stats do for them. And maybe I wasn't sure if like warriors were a class like that. Like for example, Ret Paladins completely and utterly dependent upon how much haste that you can get. And that 21% haste cap is like just out of reach all of the time. I don't know how you have it.
Like, I got it so fast. I don't understand.
Because I keep switching my gear out, and literally, like I said this in the last podcast, every gem and every enchant on my Ret Paladin is haste. Every single one, and I'm sitting at 20%. And it's like I want to be able to gem and enchant for strength or mastery or something. Like I don't want to have to keep chasing this majestic haste friggin' tiger that keeps running away from me. Like I feel like it's horrible. But
I don't understand how you're that low, because I have no gems, no enchants, nothing. I'm 22%. So
I think it just all depends on what gear you have or what you're using. So I think that's maybe it. And the trinkets that you have too are pretty important. But other than that, like there really wasn't a lot of changes to the Ret Paladin other than the legendary changes and the fact they took away might, which again, but you're new to it. So like, or I guess you're not new to Ret, but like you're new to coming back to it. So what's your opinion, Drama?
Yeah, I haven't played it since, I don't know, Wrath. But for the most part, I'm loving it. Like I'm sitting back right in the saddle. It feels like it did back in the day. You don't have the seal of blood or nothing like you did back then, but I noticed they put zeal into the talents. I didn't take that at first for some reason. I don't know why, but
because you don't use it leveling. That's why I said to you, I was like, you need to switch that out. And it was actually Stinkle or Dwarfs who actually said to me, he's like, why aren't you using zeal? Because it jumps and stacks on multiple targets, which is something that I believe and I could be wrong because, again, I wasn't really paying very close attention when I was putting my artifact power into my weapon, but I'm pretty sure that there's a talent in there or a trait in there that allows it to jump. And that's why it's really important to have it, especially for raiding, because you're getting on those pulls, you're getting that extra DPS. And that's why I mentioned to you the other day, I was like, you need to get this because it works way better.
Yeah, I was already looking into it, though.
That's good.
I just didn't get it.
Going back to a little bit for the warrior stuff, I think, like I was saying, I think that what we're trying to do on the warriors is they're trying to bring arms more frontal onto, and because everyone was from seeing the patches and things like that, it looks like there's a lot from Fury. Arms got a little bit more. They did some stuff where they increased their like if you can charge and arms, and charge now reduces speed by 50% for 6 seconds, but a second of that the target is rooted as well. So not only do they get a slow for 5 seconds essentially after the root comes off, then I mean they're already rooted for 6 they're rooted for 1 second, but then no charge now roots the target for 1 second. It was 1.5 seconds, so it still gives a root. They're just kind of rounding out the root.
Oh, I thought that they put it to a 50% movement slow.
No, it does two things. So they charge in. So if you charge a player or anything, so it's rooted for 1 second, and it also applies a 50% movement speed deduction for 6 seconds, and that's basically they get a movement reduction for 5 seconds. Yeah, that is. And then the whirlwind. If you're whirlwinding a primary target, it's increased by 45%, was 30%, or the damage on primary target is 45%, and it came up from 30%. So I think what they're looking at trying to do here is it's trying to apply it more, and then like in for the kill refunds 30 rage, it was 20, and so it seemed like they were having a little. Yeah. I mean, and it deals 150 or 105% damage. It was 5%.
Yeah,
it was 5%. So they increased that 1,000%. I mean, or whatever the percentage is, 100%. The whatever the calculation on that is, but 105% was 5% now, and so that does a lot of stuff. Especially for like in an aspect of World Quest, I've gone into Drakvul Arena as my hunter, and I get charged, and I'm dead. Like, it's stupid. Like, this is dumb. Like, and I don't even have time to react. And so, but if they had like the rage little chests and things that that's a reason why. But that's just retarded. I can't even put on my like.
You just got a turtle shell right off the bat.
No. So in case y'all want to know this about a little bit about hunters. So for paladin, as soon as you click on your bubble, it instantly bubbles you. For hunters, if you've always seen them put on the shield and you start to see it form the shield over them, while it's forming that shield over them, it's not on them yet. And it's not until it comes down and it's actually completed on them that it actually blocks everything. Until then, if they're about to die, keep on it, because you probably can kill them before the shield completes. And so basically we have like a half to 1 second. I think it's about a half a second for that shield to form. But yeah, we can still die even after we clicked it. It's stupid.
That's
I hate
terrible.
It should just be instant. While like if you want to have the graphics all cool, but it's like they apply these graphics, it doesn't actually apply until it's complete on the shield. Like, can you give me my umbrella? Like when I want to pop it open, I want it to be open. I want it to be ready to go. But but I think they're just trying to build up a little bit arms. Because I think arms and fury are fun. I think arms is a little bit easier rotation than it is fury. I'm starting to really think that they really done some good things with warriors on DPS, and kind of like where you want to see some classes where if you're DPSing, you have some classes that either you want a more complex rotation or something a little bit easier rotation because of your game style, or maybe you're just not able to understand these things. Everyone's mind works in a different way. So I mean, I know like with warriors, I think they're sitting really nice right now, and I would love to see, I just want to see more warriors out there DPSing. I mean, that's me personally. I think they've been very nice, and I just don't think we see enough of them because everyone wants to, I don't even see that many tanking. I just don't see warriors out there very much, other than drama that does things that I've never seen before. But
I just have way too much fun in my pally. It has nothing to do with the class.
And that's fine. You do what you want, like what's fun for you. But for those warriors that are out there, man, if I like playing a melee class, I like doing the physical damage. I just like doing it from a distance.
Don't ever let him tank.
Hey, he did all right. He did all
right.
He was just learning. It's okay.
Yeah, I did have my my paladin, and I tanked a normal Emerald Nightmare, and if I didn't have people saying, okay, you want to do this now, okay, do this now, I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, given I had been drinking a little bit, so I was just like, I have no freaking clue what I was doing. I know not last week I was like, it's awesome, I'm gonna do this. Oh my god, I don't like tanking. It's way too much work.
It is, and you know what? It is a lot of work, and you know what else is a lot of work? Healing. But here is an interesting point for that. We were actually just this week, a couple days ago, we were talking about our guild and going into the Nighthold raid on Tuesday. And we were like, the funniest thing about tanks and healers is that once you're like, I guess, I don't want to say every, like the super best at your class, because obviously that always comes with like better gear, et cetera. But healers and tanks are kind of like, this is your spot, this is what you do, yada, yada, yada. And then there's the DPS. And you don't hear healers being like, yeah, man, I'm number 1, I out-healed you. But you always hear DPS being like, I was number 1, or I was number 6 and I suck. I'm number 1, I'm awesome. I'm number 5 and I suck. Like, you know what I mean? Because we're constantly fighting with each other, because as a DPS class, you always feel like if you're not like in that top 3, that you're going to get kicked out. You're going to lose your spot.
I don't know. We had some pretty heavy competitions back in the day in Wrath with healing. So
yeah,
I don't feel like our guys not that we have amazing healers. Do not get me wrong; they are fantastic, and I'm thankful that we have every single one of them. But I don't really hear them like competing with each other as DPS are competing with each other.
DPS is brought to more of a light into, like who can be top, and it gives you a little bit better chance to figure out where you want to go and what you want to do. But I mean, honestly, if you're in a guild and you're moving into certain things, I mean, you're gonna have to prove yourself. If you're not, then you're not going to be taking, be taken into the raids and things like that. So yeah, DPS goes into more of, this back and forth, who's better, who's not. And, I don't care. Like, because one of the greatest things, like, we rated, like, Guarum. And when we did that, and even Odin, like, all of our DPS we're sitting all within 1% of each other. When, there was the one person that was number one. Me, but
occasionally.
But Guarum, you were, bro. That was me.
But we're all sitting in there.
He tried to steal my thunder. That hunter over there just tried to steal my thunder, like the one time ever in a raid that I've ever been like number one DPS, and the hunter tries to steal my thunder.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you'll be number one DPS when I'm not there. No, I'm just kidding.
He's finally relevant, so he has to get some thunder.
Yeah,
that's true.
I am. They're not just using and abusing him for his traps and misdirect. He actually has relevance.
Yeah, I can actually go and, like, on trash, I can actually, actually provide and help the group because I have something.
No, we're joking. We love him.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does. We're joking.
So, I mean, going through that, and that's the biggest thing. And so that's also created into, we have our main tank he does well at doing a tank, but what I like another point about, and that's kind of going into this artifact knowledge thing that we've been able to do with alts and things like that, because this is big. Like, I don't think a lot of people understand how big this is.
So exciting. Like, it's so crazy and exciting. I'm so happy. Yeah.
It goes into a further aspect of, because we have Nighthold coming next week. Mm-hmm. We have so with Nighthold, I mean, obviously, what's that start? World first race, right? I mean, we're not going to be the world first race or anything like that, but this is huge. Like, what they're able to provide into this is doing something further on that a lot of people don't realize what it's actually applying. They're like, oh, I can just do these things faster. Yes, well, we have a main tank that can now move to a DPS class and get his artifact knowledge. With this artifact knowledge, he's able to boost up his level. Obviously, he's not going to be at where his tank was, but he's able to do it in an aspect of a way of like moving it forward to be able to provide for the raid, where he's not a hindrance for the raid, and as we move in Nighthold, we're gonna be looking into that a little bit more. But first off, like, drama, like, how are you feeling, like, on your Ret, and, like, how are you able to progress and, like, these world quests and doing things like that, and how we're able to move on to that? Like, do you feel like you're comfortable with your Ret, that you can, like, it can be ready for Nighthold, or do you still feel something like you're behind a gate on something?
I mean, I'm definitely behind right now, but with this artifact knowledge boost, as you will, it's going to help so much, because I've gotten maybe 3 traits in, I don't know, 3 hours maybe. I have no idea. But opposed to that, I would have had maybe, I don't know, I'd still be at 16 traits still. This artifact knowledge hadn't have happened, I would not be able to raid next week at all. Like, I would be nowhere near being able to raid Nighthold. Nowhere near it. I'd still be maybe 2 weeks out.
I think that was why people kind of, when the changes came and then it didn't quite, like, the dice didn't really roll 100% in their favor, it wasn't as scary for them to be like, okay, I'm going to go elemental now because of this artifact power and the fantastic, amazing things that is allowed for alts and changing specs and all of those things. Because that's a huge daunting, like, for me, like, again, I would never be a tank or a healer on my paladin. I don't enjoy either one of those specs on the paladin, but just the thought, like, I did put some stuff into my prot weapon, because at first, going into the wither training, I was struggling on Brookz hard, and they were like, oh, we'll go in as a tank, and I was like, I don't know how to tank, like, I don't know how to throw a shield, I don't know any of this crap, but I did put some points in there, and then later I was like so angry at myself for doing that, because that was artifact power I feel like I wasted that I could have put into my main spec. So now it's to the point where if there's people out there who want to try the alternate specs and they've already got to their hidden artifact and they've already put the points in that they want, they can now change it and go, like, for my priest, for example, I'm a disc priest, but shadow looks fun too. So once I get my artifact weapon, and by the way, that artifact power was like a godsend, because I am literally 2 away from my hidden artifact right now. So excited. Or the hidden trait. So excited.
Don't get me wrong.
So excited.
You still have to put in the work to get the artifact knowledge, like, on your traits and everything. Like, it's still not, it doesn't come right off the bat, like, here you go, here's 35 traits. You still got to work for it.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Well, and see, that's where I like, honestly, and this could get a little hate out there, and it comes from like you put so much power. Like we go to 25 artifact knowledge, and what I don't like about some of the percentages on how they work this. So at 20 is 9,000%. 25 is 24,900%.
It's insane.
Oh.
It's insane.
And so it almost triples from 20. So it's great that they put 20. And I think I think the artifact knowledge stuff was a little behind. Like they did it so slow, which makes sense for the game coming out. So people weren't too overpowered, and you had to put some work in, and you were doing these things, and you were doing world quests. I know they were pushing that, but for now they're saying, okay, here's a way for you to boost it. And I know it's only 5 more levels of your artifact knowledge, but those 5 more are the money, like those are the money spots, especially
the money shot. Oh,
yeah, 24 is where you want to be. Like I don't even care about 25. 24 goes insane. So keep in mind, so we're going from 9,000%, and then it goes 21, 11, 3, then 17, 8 on, 22 is, 21 is 11, 3, 22 is 14, 2, 23 is 17, 8. And then jumps up to 22.3 for 24. Then 25 is like, oh, here's 24. Here's like not even like, how did they even calculate these things on this?
I don't know, but I thank you, Blizzard, because I'm at 24 and it is like the skies have opened up and gold is raining down on my head. So thank you so much.
Because if you look at how they gained a previous level, you're gaining 25%, 25%, 25%. So it's still doubling. So when they're doing this percentage, it takes a while. So you're getting to 19, 20, and then all of a sudden and then 21, and then all of a sudden 24, 23, or 22, 23, 24, 25, it jumps in crazy. Now they made like everything is increased by 25%. Essentially you have a couple of them that increased by like 26% or almost 27%.
But maybe they're doing that.
Well, they did it, but I mean, the 25 increased your gain level by 11.6%. So, I mean, it changed for 25. They didn't keep with that because it would have been like I would have liked them to keep it. So 25, when you got 25, when you finally completed your knowledge art, like that's where you want to be. It should be your money spot. But obviously they have to feel like they have to keep it where it can, I guess, hold everyone back so it doesn't like feel like once you've completed everybody and you don't have everyone. But I mean, and that's where it's going into like these mythic raiders and like going for world first. These are big, like people that are going for world first and that are mythic raiding guilds that are putting in that work and they're pushing hard, especially going to Nighthold. If you're not at 54 on your artifact weapon, you're not allowed to come in.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing. And I know it's just like this 1 to 2% that's out there that does this stuff, but that's, like I'm at 50 on my BM.
How many traits is that into the hidden though? Like right now, today I just got my 13th. So I'm 13 in. And I'm finding like a total is 54 that you can ever put into one artifact weapon. Okay. I mean, I'm finding it doesn't take that long now, though. I like max artifact power. I'm with raiding mythics, doing your dailies for artifact power, and that's the only ones I'm doing on Brookz. I'm kind of getting a hidden artifact level once every 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, and and that's okay, but you have to put the time in, and because I know, because we want to be mythic, right? And in Nighthold, we're gonna hopefully get to that point, but I'm gonna want. I mean, we have people in there, and this is not a call. And like, here's another call like death. He moves, and now he has all his at his 35, and now he's gonna start doing that. If he wanted to be in a mythic group for Nighthold, like if we were at that point and we've all said, hey, we're running this class. Obviously, we don't have a lot of alts to do that and things like that. He wants his main, which is his rogue, to be, which are amazing. But like he wants it to be, but he also want to be able to switch around specs and do things, and he thinks it's
So what you're
I
saying
can
is,
do
like,
that
he
later
doesn't-
on.
He's not completing, like he's not taking his main,
Yeah.
his rogue, and like putting all of his, like doing the artifact grind out on that to get his weapon up to the very top.
Right.
Okay.
Because I think in Nighthold he's going to be, I mean, honestly, with the way these fights are, I mean, he's going to be outlaw. I don't know, he's going more outlaw now, but and he's starting to put into those because he's got the 35 or 35th trait and all of them. But for me, like I'm almost at max of my BM, and then I'm going to worry about, and then I can do one to maybe an extra like half day of world quests, and I'll get like both of my artifact weapons to my other two on other specs I don't ever play. Really, I mean, honestly, it's because I don't like playing those. I'll get them maxed just so they're maxed, and just to have it, just because I don't want to waste artifact power. But this 20 stuff, I mean, right now with races and things like that, I know that's not what we do. But this is huge. Like with more alts and things like that, if we were a Mythic, like trying to go into world first or even server first, actually server first, it's a possibility because we got server first, or someone got server first way after the fact. We could actually be a server first. But,
I mean,
because
possibly.
of our servers.
I think.
Well, they started merging a lot of other servers, so I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I think that has to do with the fact, and I know, like when we were recruiting for raiding, it was really difficult for us to find the people that we needed, and we just got really lucky with recruiting some awesome people who went and got their awesome friends, and then like brought them back to our guild, and
You're welcome.
It wasn't you. Shout out to Akumo again.
You brought me in.
Shout out to Akumo. Shout out to Peaches. You know who you are. No, I think we got lucky with that. So yeah, we might. And a lot of those people that we got lucky enough to have, they are doing great DPS, and they know their class, they know their spec, and they work it day in and day out.
And that's the biggest thing is like going in and like pushing. And so you feel good, Drama, about where you can be possibly on like this change to your artifact weapon of you being able to get that artifact knowledge, because that's going to help you push a lot further than a lot of people have been able to do, depending on their level of play that they've done into this. But I mean, you feel like you probably should, I would say your artifact weapon should be probably maxed out, because you'll probably get the 21st trait here the next day or so. But you probably should feel like you should have like at least to the 35th by Tuesday, right? Do you feel like you're comfortable with that?
I should be able to get 35 by Tuesday.
Yeah.
I got to really push it out. I don't have much time, but I'm gonna strive for it. Once I do something, I do it. So
right, but you feel comfortable. Right, but you feel comfortable that it actually is something that is possible.
Oh yeah, it's
right?
very
It
feasible.
comes in,
very feasible.
yeah, and so that's what this thing did, and I love that. And before we go into our final topic for tonight, that I want to see, is there anything else that anybody wants to say about any of the artifact knowledge stuff?
I think we pretty much covered it. It's pretty basic.
Right. But as long as we are clear on all those points, I'd like to talk.
What was that
We should,
voice? Where did that come from?
That was my Brawlers Guild voice, and we're going into Brawlers Guild, and we're here to party.
We should just
Sorry,
immediately
guys.
move to Bill the Janitor. How awesome is that name?
I'm
Oh
just
my God,
like,
Bill the Janitor is
Bill the
amazing.
janitor is gonna have to come over to my house and clean up the pee I'm gonna take on my floor. That's what Bill the janitor is gonna have to do.
So we're going to talk about a little bit about Brawlers Guild.
I got
I
an
know.
invitation. I got an
Yeah.
invitation.
I didn't get one
And-
yet.
Huh, you
And
suck.
because there's so much to talk about with this patch, and we are going to go over our normal hour time that we usually handle, but we're gonna cover this. We're gonna hang on. I hope everyone who wants to hang down. If not, just pause it. You'll be able to catch up the next day. You'll be able to restart where we left off. So for Brawlers Guild, is a blast. If anybody hasn't done it in previous seasons and things like that, because of your wait times. So first off, I want to tell you, wait times have been fixed. Don't worry. You want to go in there with 10 people. So 10 is the max amount that can be in the Brawlers Guild at any point in time, because they're all instance out. So if you want to have guildies and things like that, make sure that you invite them. You are in a group together. If you're not in a group together, you are going to be possibly in separate instances of the Brawlers Guild. So make sure that you are all together first. and then you go in. You might have to zone out and zone back in all together. So make sure you're on the same one. It will make sure that it has basically infinite amount of zones or instancing for you to have it. You might get some randoms, and then if you only have like 6 people, basically it's going through this like instance and saying, is there 10? Boom, going to the next one. This one has 1 spot available. You're jumping in, and you might be a full one. You might jump in, late at night, and then there's only a couple left in there, or there's only a couple people in there. So you're just jumping into those and things of that nature. People leave out, but your instance back at the top. And so when more people zone in, they're going to be zoning into yours more often. But so just so y'all know, the most you're going to wait. So keep in mind, it's about a 2-minute fight per. And so if there's 10 people there and they were to max out and go into berserk and everything like that, you're going to look at 20 minutes in between fight. That seems long, I know, but guarantee you no one's going to berserk every time. Either they're dying because they're missing to some kind of mechanic, or, whatever it could be. You're going to have a few people that are going to extend the time to the final time limit, but it's not going to happen. So they brought a community into this. What's that?
What do you think about the improvements of it? Because I wasn't playing for the first and second Brawler Guild, so this is a new thing for me.
Well, yeah. So I mean, all right. So what do I think about the improvements of this? Is the guaranteed, like pretty much guaranteed wait times. That is a lot lower because they've instanted it to 10 people. There's a lot of changes into this, and that's why I wanted to make sure we had time. And I don't care if we're going over our time. Like, this is gonna be a longer episode. It's a big patch this week.
That's it. I'm done. See you later. Peace out.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna talk about Brawlers here because I don't think a lot of people understand how freaking sexy it is. So I went out there to go check this thing out, and I'm not proud of it. Well, I am proud of it because I had an amazing time. But I went after raid. It was I got out there probably around 9 p.m. I said, hey, I'm going to do a couple things. I was still there. I was there until 7 in the morning. No joke. And I was like, holy crap, why am I still here?
Sounds like our old days.
Yeah.
I had so much fun. There's so many things with the people that you're doing. Like, when you're having fun into anything, you forget about the time, which we've all done, right? But when you're in there, like with the people that you're being, they can be randoms, or you're doing it with people that you're playing with, that you brought into as a group together, like a 5-man group or whatever. And you're just seeing what the bosses are doing, and you're learning on bosses maybe you haven't seen before. And then you're dying to stupid stuff and you're laughing at them, and then you go and do the same thing. And you're like, oh, I see why that's hard. It's fun. So you have the banter with everyone. You could sit there, you can bet on other players, you can go and go buy an item from a vendor that pulls everyone out, like everyone that's watching into it, and you beat this big old kind of like a raid boss that has some like mechanics into the like it is like when you're doing brawlers, a little bit longer time, but it brings in this mechanic. You don't lose your spot in line or anything like that. You just have to go spend these coins that you use off betting or winning from killing brawlers and things like. I mean, it's just so much fun. Like, you can just go in there and have a blast. Like, it's just unbelievable amount of time. And if you have drinks with you, even more fun.
Well, that makes anything more fun.
Well, I mean, you can go, and there's so many different things that you can go purchase and do. There's a Zeppelin that flies around promoting Brawlers Guild and stuff like that. You have to be rank 8 to be able to go in there. Or you can use like 1,000 Brawlers coins, and then everyone is invited, and you go on this party ship that flies around, and it's just it's a lot of fun. Oh. It's just about how much you take it. Like, allow it to take hold of you, then it's a blast.
I feel like that Zeppelin is where Brookz role plays a little bit.
No, I told you I did in the threesome Thunder Totem.
No one said the totem had to stay there.
Well, usually you want it to stay there because that's where it works the best. Don't you want to? Anyway, well, I mean, I'm excited to come into the Brawlers Guild. I think that my elite big dick deeps is gonna provide me with some epic boss downs. I just feel like I made up a whole language there. Anyway,
What, the big clit deeps?
No, remember we talked about this yesterday. It can't.
No,
be
you
like
cannot say that.
clit.
You can't say that. You can't say that one. I'll give you the C word, but you can't say the V word. No. It sounds bad. It just sounds bad.
I know it does. It does. Anyway,
Engorged.
I won't say the word, but like they were joking and they're like, "Oh, I got my big dick deeps," and being as I don't have one of those, I was like, "Yeah, my big V word deeps," and they were all like, "Ew, because they're men." But anyway, I'm like pretty excited. I'm super excited how excited was I though when I got my invitation? I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah. No, you got it before. I think you got it before I did.
No. You got it first. And then
Did I?
Yeah, because remember we went and did the Mythic
I
plus
still
10.
don't have it.
Do you remember? And I was like, what's this? And then but I'm super excited to I'm super excited first of all that it's account bound. Love it. Love that. So you don't have to go farm it again. And I'm kind of excited that there's the Pac-Man boss. That looks really fun. I'm excited about the Pac-Man boss.
I thought that boss was going to be like a joke. I watched other people. I'm like, oh, look at these retards that don't know how to play Pac-Man. I died like 3 times.
Yeah, the video that I
and
watched,
I was confused. And so anybody that is stuck on this boss, if you're watching this,
that's
this
not
is
new.
Yeah, well, it's fun.
No, it's not new that you're confused. Is what I was trying to say. the more beverages that you consume throughout the day, the more confused you get.
It's of course throughout the day because he starts real early.
Hey.
Every day with you is a party.
Every time you hear the ice chink, it's like, Leonard, what's in that glass?
Nothing. It's water. Gonna keep hydrated.
Water? Do you mean
nothing wrong with the party?
It's vodka.
That was so. Having a Russian husband and then you doing that's just horrible. It's horrible. Anyway,
it's amazing.
How far did you actually make it, though?
Well, I got to rank 4. And it goes to rank 10 now. Well, so in season 2 of Brawlers Guild, they created it to go into rank 10 from rank 8.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've never gone, I'm pretty much higher than, I think I've gone into rank 6 is the highest I've ever gotten before.
Okay.
There's not an achievement between, for lackluster. So, I've gotten the achievement for, it seems like they reset the achievements as I was hitting some achievements now, and I was getting these same achievements before when I was doing it. And so, with the fixes to BM hunters and what I'm able to do, I'm able to do some deeps and I'm able to take care of, because at any point in time, I could be taking on 1 person or 3 people, or there's obviously there's mechanics in all these, so you want to be able to burst a little bit, and item level does count into this. I know when they were talking about it on the Q&A, they were like, well, no, item out level doesn't count.
Absolutely does, yeah.
It does. If you're looking to go beat it,
people are saying 890
before the
is
timer,
the easiest. That's what they're saying. And we're 882, 883.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You're going to have some bosses that, a lot of these bosses are mainly about mechanics. So you can tell when someone's new that is coming in and not understanding, because they really need to pay attention to mechanics to be able to get their uber amount of DPS. They're just not going to get to the quicker timers. They're going to be going and killing a boss it's almost at its berserk timer. When it gets to its berserk timer and you had to spend that time, because it's not like you're going in there and you're kind of like pushing buttons, you kind of move around. During those 2 minutes, you need to be on point exactly what you're doing. It's the most intense part. You're trying to push, you have a boss down at, he's down to, 5%, and you're trying to push, and you're seeing berserk, because when he hits berserk, you're going to die, and you're just trying to push everything you have. So you have these things in raids that help, that you don't really focus. There's times you focus and there's times you really focus. So take those really focused times and you put them in here.
Oh, so it's like
you can't mess up. If you mess up anything, you're dead.
That sounds very dramatic.
So when you go into each rank, just so anybody that doesn't really understand how some of these work and if you're potentially a new player or doing stuff, you don't have the item level and you're getting stuck, so keep in mind on certain aspects of how the ranks work. So each rank does increase the amount of difficulty, but you have to kill 4 bosses in each rank, it gives you 250 reputation per kill. When it takes 1,000 reputation to get to the next boss. Simple math, right? So rank 1, some of the things you're doing, like you go in, you do an easy boss, a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder. And then you get to rank 2. Now it takes rank 2, it's a little bit harder, but you're starting with easier of rank 2, and it starts to increase in difficulty, and then it rinse and repeat through all the ranks.
Okay.
So if you're stuck on a person that's rank 1 of whatever rank that you're at, or it's the first one of rank, then you might be getting like hit up where you just can't DPS that much, or you can't push, or there's something really complicated that you can't figure out. And that's fine. You can see forums, you can see things out there that can help you, that can push through this. All I've done, I haven't looked up anything. I've done pet battles and blah, blah, blah. I look up on how to kill this and do this and what is the rotation on, what pets should I have on this. I haven't looked up anything. I've had more fun watching and learning and then applying. Like I'm on one right now. I'm almost in rank 5. I'm on one right now that I watched everyone do. It's basically like killing Hogger. And I was like, this is a joke. I went into it. I'm like, I can't do this. Like I thought I understood what other people were doing, but there's something I'm missing. So, I need to. But see, you can't really learn it by doing, you can learn a little bit by doing it yourself, but really watching other people doing certain things that you won't really see what you're missing, because you're like, oh, I saw there's this other thing over there that you're supposed to grab. But as you're in there and you're in the moment, you're like, you are watching and moving around. Everything is happening so fast that you really don't see some simple things. And that's where it's fun to have people in there with you. Other guildies, or especially other people that are talking like, hey, if you see someone in there, some people are dicks when you try to help them, but you can actually, like, if you whisper someone or doing something like, hey man, I've done this one before. Hey, I saw you were missing that. Like, if you just do this, like, try that, because I think you look like you're doing just fine. You're just missing this part that maybe you're not seeing. And some people are like, dude, thanks. And some people are like, I don't even care. I'm like, I'll just figure it out. I'm like, then fine, be a dick. Like, I don't want to watch you wasting my time.
Somebody said that to you?
Yeah, someone actually said that to me. I was just like, whatever, man. Like, I'm just trying to help out, whatever. I was like,
This is like a pattern. I actually had this similar situation happen. I was like doing a PvP world quest, and everybody kind of like jumps in and you're tagging mobs. It's not like old school. And this guy like whispered me, and he like was very like angry and using a lot of profanity, and he was like, I don't need your help. I was like wow, bro.
It's like, a world quest,
I'm
bro.
like, you need to calm down. I'm like, can you breathe a little bit? Like, I'm helping you, right? He's like, I don't need your help. And then there was like more profanity, and I was like, all right, then I'll just go over here.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, anybody that's been out there, like, have some fun. Go into Brawlers Guild. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. We are definitely here to help out with anybody. And before, I go through the whole sign off thing, I want to check with everyone here. So Drama, Sam, is there anything that y'all would like to close out with any information or anything like that you would want to bring to the table?
Yeah, actually, I want to make a shout out there to every Horde player listening, and just remind them that the Call of the Scarab, which is one of the micro holidays, it starts next Saturday, and we need to gather resources and do whatever the heck it wants us to do, because we want our flag flying down there at AQ. That's super important. Yeah. And also, if there's ever a time for you guys to whisper Blizzard, it's about getting this Murloc New Year's. That's so important. I think we definitely need to celebrate the Murloc New Year. Don't laugh. I love the Murlocs. I was just talking to Snipe about this today when I was like, I wish I could be a Murloc. I wish that was a class. They were saying something in November or whatever, and I'm all for Murloc New Year. I say give it to us, please. Pretty please. Okay.
So about this new AQ event, is there an option to get the Black Rider?
I don't think so. No,
keep in mind these micro holidays are not going to be about achievements and things like
collecting or anything.
Right? Yeah, it's about community. It's about having fun. Now, one thing they have said that this is about, if you have alts and you're trying to figure out ways to get experience and get things up. I don't have any alts I can do this with, But if you do have some alts that
Get
you can
over
do this
there.
with, get over there. It's like double experience of whatever you're getting.
Yeah.
So it's a way that you can burst through some stuff up to level 100. After 100, it doesn't. I don't think it applies anymore.
Kind of like the invasion.
Yeah. And I think like this is a good time for like the horde who generally are like, for some reason, whenever you have to like be a team, just like fall apart horribly, like i.e. PvP for some crazy reason. But maybe this time we could like jump together and get it right, because it's per region, is it not? It's like the North American servers, the EU servers, that type of thing.
Yeah, well, I think it's going. I think it's going per server. Is from what I was.
Oh, I
was
thought
hearing.
that you were talking about it being like per.
Well, I think they wanted people to know that you're not going to be competing against European realms and things like that that are going to do that. So in case they're more active, it is going to be separated between your EU and US. It was mentioned in the Q&A, but it wasn't like definitive on how it was going to work. And so I'm looking and watching on how this is going to happen. I think it might be region. It would make more sense so you have more people, so you don't have like overwhelmed servers getting taken back. It's very exciting.
When you're looking that up, can you look up and see if the Kalthazud Alliance only play on Tuesdays? Because that's the only time I see them. And I'm just kind of wondering, like, are we only merged with KT on that day, or is it like every day? Like, I need to know this.
They merge. They come on with big days, and they come on Tuesdays. And if they do, that's fine, because we'll be starting on Saturday, and
I'm just trying to figure out, like, is it KT a Tuesday server only, or
right.
I don't know.
KT just finishes everything on Tuesday, and then they got the whole week to just do whatever.
So they just like do the world quest on Tuesday and kill a bunch of horde on Tuesday. I got it.
They're just so amazing that's what happens.
Right.
Maybe we should all server transfer and become alliance.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck
No,
that, actually.
no.
Never.
This is my day one server. I ain't never leaving.
Yeah, same here. Drum, is there anything else you want to add for anything?
No, not for the most part. The artifact knowledge, man, if you're just grinding it out, you got to keep on, you know? Just got to get it all.
Right.
And if you have questions about that, just message Drama. He'll be happy to run you through his scenario.
Because I'm definitely grinding it out right now. Like, I went into a raid the other day on my Paladin. It was terrible. My DPS was lackluster, but I was also only at 21 traits. You know, I only had 1 gold trait. It was terrible.
Right.
So
You'll get better.
It'll get there.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know what
But
kind
don't
of player
even
I am.
think
So.
about DPSing me.
Oh, I
because
will.
that's
It's
you
gonna
will
come.
not. No,
You watch. It's gonna come.
no, I'm getting a desk, so you ain't got no chance.
All right, guys, calm down. All right, here we go. So yeah, everyone, thank you for listening tonight. If you have anything you want to ask about, I mentioned earlier, but please email, like the easiest thing, email whilereckoninghour@gmail.com. You don't miss up on any spelling or anything like that. We're going to be posting this here the next day. So, please reach out, because we want to have a time where we can answer some of our community questions and things like that, to make sure if there's something you're confused on, especially right now with everything changing. There might be people out there that don't want to help and don't want to, I know that maybe you don't know how to look up things, or if you do, that's great. Or maybe you have a specific question on how it works. If we don't know it and we don't play it, we will figure out how to answer you onto that and understand exactly what you're asking and move from there. So just make sure you just hit us up, because if we do have some of those questions, we will hit those up towards the end of the podcast to have that time. Next week we'll be talking about 715 Nighthold, because it's coming, and some of the other changes that are coming in 715 is not done. It's just gated a little bit, so they had the big stuff for everything. Obviously we have micro holidays, which we already talked about, which I think we might have a part we might actually say a couple of things on, but we don't know, because depending on how much time and then getting the cast ready and everything like that. But anybody listening today, thank you so much for taking your time and enjoying us, and I hope we keep entertaining y'all, and we thank you. I don't know what else to say other than thank you. But hey, don't forget, keep calm, fly on.